The latest bombshell rocking the world of the bold and the beautiful arrived courtesy of Rebecca Budig herself, who took to her personal social media this week to announce that, after a whirlwind stint on the CBS soap, she is preparing to bid farewell to Taylor Hayes and set her sights on a new role on The Young and the Restless. Budig's revelation confirmed what fans had long suspected. Her engagement with B&B was always slated to be brief, a temporary contract that has now reached its close with the dawn of August. In her candid post, Budig explained that although she and the show's producers had explored options for extending Taylor's journey in Los Angeles, no formal agreement was ever inked beyond her original commitment. With Taylor's departure scheduled for early August, the rumor mill is already in overdrive, and viewers are clamoring for answers. Why is Ridge Forrester's steadfast confidant and once betrothed set to exit town? Will Ridge again cast Taylor aside, leaving her heartbroken and adrift? Or might Taylor, ever the selfless warrior, choose to shield Ridge from a devastating blow when Nick Marone's thirst for vengeance reaches a fever pitch after believing Ridge stole his bride? As the countdown to Taylor's final episodes begins, the stakes have never felt higher, and the questions swirling around Forrester Creations promise a maelstrom of drama and emotional reckoning that no loyal viewer will want to miss. From the moment Taylor first re-entered Ridge's orbit, after the oceanic catastrophe that had almost claimed Brooke Logan's life and nearly carved a permanent rift between Ridge and his one true love, Taylor's presence on the canvas of Los Angeles life had offered both a balm and a blade, healing conversations by moonlight, empathetic counsel that girded Ridge's wounded spirit, and a friendship that often tripped across the fine line between platonic devotion and forbidden longing. But with Taylor's status now set to shift from central fixture to departing guest star, every whispered conversation in the corridors of Forrester Creations carries weight. Every glance exchanged at Il Giardino carries unspoken significance, and every late-night meeting in the design studio throbs with the unspoken question of what is yet to come. Budig's social media missive, part farewell, part teaser for her impending Young and the Restless auditions, confirmed that her time as Taylor Hayes has been an exercise in navigating divided loyalties, torn between Ridge's impossibly complex heart, Brooke's relentless gravitational pull, and the ever-present specter of Nick's brooding intensity. With no new contract in hand, Taylor now faces the inevitable. An exit storyline that must satisfy her own journey of self-discovery while also paying homage to the readerly devotion she has inspired in viewers who hung on her every word as she reminded Ridge of the kind of love that withstands betrayal, secrets, and the siren call of forbidden passion. Even before Budig's announcement sent shockwaves through Pine Valley and beyond, the speculation had begun. Social media erupted with hashtags like #SaveTaylor and #TaylorExitsLA, while online forums charted every possible exit strategy, a heroic return to her neurofeedback practice in the Bay Area, a sudden family emergency that forces her to choose blood ties over love triangles, or the audacious theory that Taylor might sacrifice herself to protect Ridge and Brooke from Nick's growing fury. But Budig's own words, shared alongside a candid selfie of her clutching a script for The Young and the Restless, all but guaranteed that the script pages bearing Taylor's name on B&B are drawing to a close. It's been an absolute joy to bring Taylor back to life these past weeks, Budig wrote, her eyes shining with equal parts gratitude and wistfulness. I'm honored to have rejoined this incredible cast, even for a short arc, but the time has come to turn the page. Early August will mark Taylor's final bow, so hold on tight. Her departure will be nothing less than heartbreaking. If the actress's promise holds true, then Taylor's farewell will be crafted with every ounce of dramatic flair the series can muster, a departure that won't simply be a wave goodbye at the airport, but an emotional eruption that reconfigures the emotional geology of every character in her wake. At the epicenter of this emotional earthquake stands Ridge Forrester, whose relationship with Taylor has always resembled a tectonic dance, two passionate plates that collide, rub against each other, and then withdraw with equal intensity. Ridge, for years, viewed Taylor as the anchor that moored his heart when Brooke's tempestuous nature threatened to sweep him away, yet he also recognized in Taylor a kindred spirit who could withstand the storms he conjured by chasing impossible dreams of love. With Taylor's impending exit, Ridge finds himself bereft of his most stabilizing force. Alone once more with the memory of Brooke's last anguished cry, the thrill of Nick's unbridled devotion, and the fraying edges of a heart that has weathered too many betrayals. As Ridge steels himself for the narrative that will send Taylor packing, the burning question lingers: will he be the one to break her heart again? Will Ridge, reeling from Brooke's wavering affections and Nick's brazen proposal aboard the ill-fated yacht, turn his back on Taylor when she needs him most, leaving her to forge a new path alone? Or might he beg Taylor to stay, to fight for her place beside him when the tempest of emotions finally subsides? The writers, keenly aware of the audience's yearning for closure and redemption, may well script Ridge as the repentant lover who realizes too late that Taylor's unwavering devotion was the treasure he should have guarded above all else. Elsewhere in the tangled web of Los Angeles intrigue, Nick Marone glares across the bow of destiny, consumed by a vendetta that has simmered since he first glimpsed Brooke's torn loyalties. Nick, whose romantic overtures once promised Brooke world-spanning adventures, now stands on the brink of obsession, convinced that Ridge has usurped what was rightfully his. The prospect of Taylor's exit could serve as the spark to ignite Nick's desire for retribution, a chance to wound Ridge through the woman who embodied his most profound emotional investments. Will Nick, the self-styled hero whose chest still bears the scars of near-fatal sacrifices, leverage Taylor's vulnerability? Her departure looming to exact revenge on Ridge? Or will Taylor, whose moral compass has always pointed toward redemption, deflect Nick's wrath and protect Ridge from a retaliatory blow that could doom them all? The answers to these questions stand at the heart of Taylor's exit storyline, and early whispers suggest that her final episodes will be punctuated by a farewell that balances sacrificial heroism with the tantalizing hint of future possibilities. Perhaps even a cliffhanger that leaves the door ajar for Budig's eventual return, should both parties reach a new accord. Behind the scenes, sources confirm that Budig's own pivot toward the young and the restless represents a strategic career move. The Nashville actress has been eyeing a more stable, contract-secured role, and Y&R's recent casting needs presented a golden opportunity. Her departure from B&B, while abrupt to some, was negotiated in good faith. Producers and showrunners have praised her contributions to the remounting of Taylor's arc, and plenty of narrative breadcrumbs have been sown to facilitate a future reappearance, should Budig's schedule permit. Yet the emotional core of Taylor's departure must resonate on its own merits, an exodus crafted to honor her journey from FBI-trained psychologist to wounded lover to fierce advocate for her friends and family. Early scripts reportedly call for Taylor to uncover a shadow conspiracy linking the yacht accident to corporate espionage, aligning with her investigative instincts and setting the stage for a hero's exit wherein she sacrifices her own safety to save Ridge, or perhaps trades her own freedom for Ridge's reputation. The exact details remain covert, but insiders hint at a final scene dripping with symbolic resonance. Taylor, suitcase in hand, pausing at the threshold of Forrester Creations, turning back to offer a benediction to those she leaves behind even as tears glisten in her eyes, before stepping into a new sunrise that heralds both an ending and a beginning. For viewers, the promise of Taylor's departure brings both excitement and trepidation. Some fan factions bemoan the loss of a character who embodied stability in a world of ever-shifting alliances. Others eagerly anticipate the shockwaves her absence will send through the Forrester family tree. Will Ridge finally admit that Taylor was the love he never fully appreciated? Will Brooke, whose memory is still tenuous after her near drowning, find solace in Taylor's farewell words, or suffer anew as she watches another woman slip away? And above all, will Taylor's choice to leave be portrayed as an act of self-preservation or self-sacrifice? As August draws near, the emotional temperature around Taylor Hayes is rising to a boil, and fans across social media are drafting their own dramatic theories, editing together video montages set to power ballad soundtracks, and even staging mock Taylor's last day watch parties to commemorate the exit of one of daytime television's most beloved heroines. One thing is certain, when Rebecca Budig's final scenes as Taylor Hayes air, it will not be a quiet affair. The narrative tapestry woven by head writers will need to thread together every major relationship, Taylor and Ridge, Taylor and Brooke, Taylor and Nick, into a farewell that honors the character's growth, delivers unforgettable fireworks, and leaves the stage ready for the next act in the eternal saga of love, power, and redemption. Whether Taylor steps bravely into the unknown, storms off in righteous indignation, or collapses in a flood of tears only to rise anew in some distant city, the moment will define a new chapter for Ridge, Brooke, Nick, and the entire Forrester empire. And as viewers brace themselves for the emotional reckoning ahead, one truth remains inviolate. On the bold and the beautiful, no goodbye is ever truly final, and every departure carries the seed of a possible return. Echoing the cycle of heartache and hope that has enchanted audiences for decades and ensures that, whenever Taylor Hayes is called home again, her story will continue to unfold with all the passion, drama, and unbreakable bonds that make daytime television a timeless canvas for the human heart. Sheila Sharp's heart pounded as she slipped into Il Giardino's hushed corridors, determined to find any way to honor Luna Nozawa in her final hours. Beneath the opulent crystal chandeliers and the scent of freshly cut roses, she felt more a detective than a mourner, convinced that Lee Finnegan was hiding more than just medical records about the young woman she claimed to care for. Earlier that day, Brooke Logan had stormed out of Ridge Forrester's arms with a single, brutal command, "Get out," and had marched away from their staged photo shoot as if every memory of their shared past had turned to dust, choosing instead to follow the magnetic pull of Nick Marone, whose fierce longing shone in his eyes like a beacon for the wounded heroine. At Il Giardino, Sheila peered into the private wing where Lee refused her entry to Luna's bedside, insisting that no comfort, no plate of nourishing soup, could reach a girl who had lost appetite to grief. Disappointed but undeterred, Sheila confided in Deacon Sharp about Lee's evasiveness, lamenting how the doctor's trembling voice betrayed a deeper secret while she clung to the hope that Luna still deserved one last gesture of respect. Though Deacon offered little more than a solemn nod, Sheila sensed that Lee's insistence on keeping her away from the lab and the locked refrigerator filled with vials hinted at a truth too heavy to bear. When Lee finally returned to Luna's side, her face ashen, she knelt by the bed and recalled the first time she had held Luna as a child, marveling at the motherly warmth the girl would never know with Poppy Nozawa across the world. Her own daughter's chance at motherhood stolen before it began. Lee's voice broke as she forced Luna's eyelids to flutter, urging her to open her eyes and reminding her that she was not yet lost, that she was here, a living testament to survival. Meanwhile, at Forrester Creations on Thursday, Will Spencer had leaned close to Electra Forrester and declared that she should be the company's representative in Italy because she was hands down the most scintillating model they'd ever unleashed on any runway, only for Electra to snort with disdain and deftly steer the conversation toward the wreckage of Luna's life, speak quietly of the damage done, and refuse to smear the name of the young woman now gone silent, even as Will insisted bluntly that speaking truth was not slander and admitted to a dark relief that Luna was no longer a threat to his own plans. Back on the sun-dappled piazza in Capri, Brooke Logan seethed as Ridge posed her for yet another publicity still, the flashbulbs popping like gunshots in her soul. each frame a reminder of a promise now hollow. Each question about Ridge's engagement to Taylor Hayes another nail in the coffin of her patience. When Ridge whispered in pained tones that all he ever wanted was to make her happy, Brooke's eyes flashed with cold clarity before she spat, "Get out," and, heart pounding with defiant exhilaration, turned away from the carousel of broken vows and unsigned contracts. In that moment Nick Marone appeared at her side, each footstep echoing with the fierce conviction that he would never again let her drift within Ridge's orbit. Nick's gaze burned with devotion and unspoken promise as he extended his hand to Brooke, urging her to abandon the gilded cage of familiar heartbreak and step into his world, where every glance and every touch spoke of a love unafraid to stake its claim. Though Eric Forrester's stern warning to Nick to keep his distance still hung between them like a thundercloud, Nick refused to be cowed. He traced Brooke's scent through the winding streets, anger roiling in his chest at every thought of Ridge's betrayal, every theory that Ridge had hurt her more deeply than he could ever imagine. Finally, Brooke's trembling fingers closed around Nick's outstretched hand, and his relief threatened to overflow in a roar of triumph. Meanwhile, Sheila's vigil at Il Giardino stretched into the twilight as she slipped a single white rose into her purse, whispering a vow to Luna's still form that she would uncover whoever had betrayed her trust. By the lavender hourly swept into the garden cafe, her face ghostly behind her surgical mask as she confronted Sheila's accusing eyes and rebuffed her request for access to Luna's private lab once more, claiming fragile protocols and fragile hearts. But Sheila would not relent, her instincts honed by years of navigating secrets and lies, certain that an unseen hand had manipulated every chart and every charted heartbeat. At the same time, Taylor Hayes absorbed the news of Brooke's final break with Ridge and Taylor's own uncertain future on the show. Rebecca Budig's social media announcement that Taylor would soon leave town for the young and the restless rippling through the very studios where Ridge had begged for her counsel. Leaving the Forrester scion bereft of both his past loves and his most steadfast advisor. As night fell, igniting the sky in bruised purples and hungry oranges, Ridge retreated to his villa overlooking the sea, the door swinging shut on every memory of Brooke's scorn and Taylor's impending departure, and he found Nick waiting on the balcony. Brooke's hand still pressed against his, forging an indelible bond in the wake of betrayal. Below, Sheila and Deacon huddled in the shadows of ancient columns, planning their next move to pierce Lee's defenses, knowing that only by exposing the villainy lurking behind closed doors could they prevent Luna's memory from sinking beneath the waves forever. And in the silent hush before dawn, as Capri's lanterns winked out one by one, the lines between ally and adversary blurred into a single truth. In the world of the bold and the beautiful, love, revenge, and redemption are but threads in a tapestry constantly rewoven, and tonight, each character stood on the cusp of choices that would shatter legacies, forge new alliances, and forever alter the course of every heart brave enough to chase the sun.